right, y'all. Rick's Smiley Morning Show, and it's about that time for Jeff Johnson. Jeff got 3 things that you need to know. Jeff, good morning, man. Happy to have you.
Good morning, dear brother. How are you, my friend?
Man, blessed and highly favored, man. Yes, sir.
Man,
it's always interesting to see what because there's so much going on. I just be wondering, like, what you going to talk about?
Well, listen, man, and I'm trying not to be distracted by the distractions and the distractors. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm going to say it this morning. Listen, there's a whole lot happening, but I think that we got it is now February, about to be March, and in November of this year, we got an election.
Right.
And I know people are like, oh, my God, Negro, we're going to talk about an election again. No, but it is probably as if not more important than the election that we talked about for 3 years leading up to the presidency, and that is local mayors. And if you don't think that matters, there are more things that mayors do and city councils in connection with them that impact your daily life than a president does ever. And so whether it's your basic services, your street stuff, your garbage removal, how it impacts local schools, taxes, and the rest. Also, there's a ton of money that cities spend that impact whether or not we can have access to wealth, especially if you're a small business owner. And, Rick, man, there are so many mayor's races coming up in 2025. You had my brother, frat brother and brother, Randall Woodfin, who's running for re-election in Birmingham, Alabama. But you got Oakland, California. You got Miami, Florida. You got Atlanta, Georgia. You got Topeka, Kansas. You got New Orleans. You got Detroit and Lansing, Michigan. You got Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota. You got St. Louis, Missouri. You have several, I think, Charlotte and Raleigh. You got Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Columbus in Ohio. You got Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania and Columbia, South Carolina. And you got Fort Worth, Texas. That's a lot of cities, Rick. Right. And when you start thinking about the amount of money that is going to be spent by those cities over the course of 4 years, that's going to determine the access to wealth, opportunities, especially when the federal government is doing what it's doing. Black business owners, urban business owners still have the ability to do business in our local cities. And we got to make sure we have the right folks there, let alone if you want to talk about the roles that mayors play in selecting chiefs of police and public safety. So, I mean, listen, there is a whole lot of insanity going on, and some of you are involved in finding where the opportunities are. Some of you are involved in fighting it. But listen, less than several months from now, there will be mayors in all of these cities who will be spending billions of dollars to impact what is happening either against Trump, aligned with Trump, or in some cases in spite of Trump. And so I don't want us to get so caught up in the mess and the noise, right, that we don't pay attention to the fact that being engaged civically is not about a presidential election. Being engaged civically is about what we do every day. Do we show up at school board meetings? Do we show up at city council meetings? Do we show up at state legislature meetings? Because all these things impact us, not just what's happened at the federal level. So, y'all, please, we're going to talk about this more and more as we lead up to November. But it is critically important that we know what's happening in our cities as much as we think we know what's going on at the federal level. Before I get out of here, Rick, I'm going to be in Atlanta all of next week. And for my book of the month this month, I want to talk about my dear sister, activist, just servant, Tamika Mallory, has a book coming out called I Live to Tell the Story. And I'm going to be with her and a bunch of amazing people at the gathering spot this Sunday, celebrating her, but also celebrating the book. And so if you are interested in a read, man, I met Tamika Mallory in Al Sharpton's office in 2003, brother, where she was just a local organizer, and have watched her serve us, sometimes even when she didn't serve herself. And so it's not just the book, I Live to Tell the Story, but I want to start celebrating us, Rick, over and over and over and over and over again while we still here. And so I salute Tamika Mallory, her service to us when nobody's watching, her service to us when people are watching, and celebrate this book. And if you want a book for this month, you all check out, please, when you can. I live to tell the story by my dear sister, activist servant Tamika Mallory. We salute you, sis, and we celebrate you. Rick, those are things I got for you. Y'all can hit me at Jeff Nation on IG. Man, have a good Thursday, my friend.
Hey, man, you too, man. Y'all, Jeff Johnson, make sure y'all check him out. Check out Tamika Mallory's book. We had her on. I'm so happy to have her on. Great read, as a matter of fact, y'all. I appreciate you, Jeff. Love you, brother. More Rickey Smiley Morning Show up next.